and welcome to Movie Reedviews with me, Cody Reed. I'm going to review In the Heart of the Sea. It's directed by Ron Howard, and it stars Chris Hemsworth, Brendan Gleeson, and Benjamin Walker. The movie's about a true story that actually inspires Herman Melville, who writes Moby Dick. This true story, he's trying to learn more about it from this crew member who was on this ship, the Essex, and they had to deal with like the whale and these other elements, which I'll get to. And so Herman Melville wants to learn more about this true story to adapt into his fictional novel to make Moby Dick. The man who's telling Herman Melville the story is Thomas Nickerson, who was actually a young teen at the time on the ship, and he tells the story about like the whale and how it ruined the crew's voyage. The ship is actually piloted by, if that's the word, piloted by Pollard and Chase. Those are the last names. We have Pollard, who's the captain, and then Chase, Owen Chase, I think, is the first mate. It's played by Chris Hemsworth, and the movie really focuses on him. Even though they do butt heads a lot through the movie, you get to see that. The movie really focuses on Chase and his desires to be his own captain and just be out there on the sea. And speaking of which, the movie really does take place out on the sea. The movie is called In the Heart of the Sea. And even though the advertisements for this movie, if you've seen them, they really focus on like the whale's not as much in the movie as I had hoped. There's still some other really cool parts, like some slow parts in the movie, and I wish the whale was in there a little bit more, but the more I think about it, it's not called In the Heart of the Whale. That would have been like Jonah. But it's in the heart of the sea, so you get to see a lot of the sea, some of the whale, and the movie really focuses on three different aspects. Man versus man, like I said, the captain and the first mate. Man versus the elements, like the storms that are happening in the ocean. And then man versus nature, the whale. Yeah, so just don't expect a lot of the whale. Expect a lot of the sea and the elements and things like that, and then when the whale does show up, it's an added bonus. I thought the way the movie looked, like the visuals and the cinematography, was actually pretty cool, pretty interesting. The acting was pretty good as well. Even though Chris Hemsworth's accent in the movie kind of goes here and there, I don't really know what accent he's doing. Sometimes it sounds like his Australian accent, and then other times it's more like English or Irish, I don't know. It just seemed just weird. And even though the accent was funky, I still think he played the character of Owen Chase well. He's slowly kind of descending into madness because of the elements and the nature he has to deal with, and this whale that's like tormenting the crew, and it kind of makes him go a little crazy. With the elements, you get to see a lot of the sea, a lot of shots of the sea. The sea was almost like its own character as they're going out and they have to brave these elements. And then you have the whale that was also very intimidating through the movie, and they just he kept torturing the crew. If I was on the crew, I would have been like, stop bugging me, like get away, you keep coming towards us. And but that also made me want to have the whale even more in the movie. That's what I was saying. There wasn't a ton of the whale, but because he was so intimidating, I wanted to see a little more from him. I think you'll like this movie if you're still deciding. If you like movies that take place out on the ocean or the sea, kind of like Castaway or things like that, just don't expect all action because there are some slower scenes, especially with dealing with Thomas Nickerson and Herman Melville as they're talking about this account. They keep cutting back to that, and then they'll go back to Chris Hemsworth and the actual events that were taking place. And so it's not all action, but the action scenes in the ocean were really cool. Yeah, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a little better than what I was expecting, even though it wasn't what I was expecting. I expected fewer, slower scenes with replacing them with the whale, but I still enjoyed the sea, the whale, the crew, some of those intense moments that were happening, and so yeah, I highly enjoyed the movie. But have you seen it? It seems like it's getting mixed reviews in the Heart of the Sea, so let me know what you thought of the movie. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I always post other reviews. And then lastly, I also accept some emails, moviereedviews@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Well, I, Bobby Boucher, really like some high-quality H2O. Those men at sea were drinking a lot of that water, even though it wasn't very good. It was salty. But I'll give this movie, In the Heart of the Sea, 4 out of 5 water cups.